So I spent the past week trying to quarantine all of the bugs I could find in Unreal. It's not that Unreal has more bugs than other game engines, it's just that they're kind of in our way. And a new dev is going to really suffer if they encounter an engine bug. They're already struggling to get the engine to do what they want it to do, and now they have to worry about a bug as well. Will they even be able to tell that it is a bug? They might not. They're new to the engine. So I've been carefully writing these elements to work around common bugs. Here's a fun one for you, just to give you an example. If you have a UI pop-up, like say a text box, you can pass it a variable as it spawns. You can do this to say, tell it who's talking and tell it what they're saying. Now in our case, we actually pass it a struct, containing all of the values that it might need. If you do that, Unreal will randomly disconnect wires on your blueprint every time you open Unreal. And that's been a bug for 10 years. The way to fix it is you go into the variable on the UI widget and you tag save game. That fixes it. So obvious, right? That would be a stumbling block for a new dev that might be something they cannot overcome. That might be simply impossible for them to even conceive of how to figure out how to do that. So I coded around it. I've been coding around a number of other bugs of the same sort, although that one is by far the silliest. It's one of those things where I want devs to have a smooth time of it, because I know that as a new dev, just getting the engine to work at all is a huge challenge. One of the other things I've done, I've ripped out the system we were using where we were putting dialogue events into level sequences. Now I've removed that because it's not the way that other dialogue engines normally do it. Most dialogue engines will have the dialogue engine be its own thing, and then you'll just tell it to play a sequence, a level sequence. So I've done that the same way because I think that if you're serious about making games, at some point you're probably going to get yourself a real dialogue engine, and I want to be as compatible as possible. So if I do things the same way that most dialogue engines do them, you'll be able to just plug in whatever dialogue engine you want once you get far enough along that you decide you need a real dialogue engine. So the main change here is the level sequences still have a special class that allows you to partition the level sequences. So if I pop this open to show you, I've got all of these various dividers here, and that will allow us to have a level sequence that can be paused and played around with as we see fit. And that should also be compatible with other dialogue sequences, as long as a dialogue sequence can play arbitrary functions on arbitrary objects. See, there's no way a dialogue sequence could pause like this. A level sequence can't pause like this unless it is a custom level sequence. So, this is where it's going, and I am happy with how it's turning out, but I sure have a lot of actual coding left to do. Trying to get around Unreal's bugs takes a lot more time than you might think, and the same is true in Unity, of course, and in Godot, I'm sure. So it's not that I am saying that there are too many bugs for you to use Unreal. Unfortunately, if there are too many bugs in Unreal, there are too many bugs in every engine you could care to use. But my hope is that you won't encounter them. My hope is that I will have weaved around them so that they are invisible to you.